welcome to the Christian Media Marketing Show. My name is John. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And thank you for those of you who are new to the show. There's been a few of you just this last week that have reached out to me. A few of you who even sent me a message with a picture of yourself watching the show, and it just made my day. It's truly just been an amazing thing because you all, wherever you are in the world, you are our heroes here at Kavanaugh Media. To partner with you, to be able to just come alongside, to support you, to hopefully add value to what it is that you are doing to make Jesus famous. Well, it's just an honor to be able to do that. It's stressful on our end. It's a little scary, to be honest with you, at times, because we are this business as mission. It just seems like the Lord is always testing us and saying, all right, are you going to be faithful with the next step? Are you going to be faithful with what we're about to bring to you? And there are things that happen all of the time where I believe that Satan will work to discourage you, just as he does with us, to stop or to slow down. But let's not do that. Let's do the exact opposite of what he would want us to do. Let's be faithful to what God is calling us to do and push forward in faith together. Well, I've been wanting to talk about this. I have alluded to this in the past, and we are now at a point where we are going all in on what I want to share with you today. And it is a scary thing, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of unknowns. There is risk involved on our part of Kavanaugh Media to do this, because as it is true with most things in life, there are no guarantees that it's even going to work the way we want it to. But what I believe is that there are times in our ministry and in our lives where we just have to push away from the shore. We just have to try to do something that is beyond what we know we can do individually. And part of my core belief is that all of us, we are better together. That utilizing our different strengths and gifts and talents together, I believe that brings much glory to God. I believe that it is something that brings just joy to Jesus, is to see his children working well together. And so we have been doing training and coaching and actually doing media engagement, digital media engagement, media to movement type of work for going on 6 years now. Thousands and thousands of ads have been ran. Tons of teams that have been trained. Some are really just partners of ours now. We're leaning on them. We're learning from them. Others are still in the exploratory area of it. And unfortunately, some have put their foot in the water and decided, well, it's just not for them. Some have been burnt out. Some have just stopped. Some have started off strong and then just kind of slowly but surely went back to something else. And I hate to see that. That may be normal, but I still hate to see anyone stop using the tools and the technology that's available, because I am convinced that there is no other more powerful tool that we have available to us right now than with digital engagement. Now, I'm not trying to say that prayer or any of those things are not. That's the most powerful thing we have available. But as a technology, as a tool, as a strategy, I believe digital engagement is our moment in time to leverage it for God's kingdom and for his glory. And so part of my concern has come about from this, of teams and organizations reaching out saying, hey, some of our people are burnt out. Some of our people are tired. In fact, at the EMDC conference that I was doing a keynote at, the vast majority of the room, when I asked them to raise their hand if they had been feeling burnt out and just tired. And these are digital people. These are people creating media or using technology. Almost everyone in the room raised their hand. I wasn't expecting that. I was surprised by that. And so what I want to share with you today is our attempt to be able to work as the body of Christ together and to let people do what they went to the field to do, which is to share about Jesus, hopefully, and let people work where their strengths are. So I want to walk you through a presentation and give you some information about what it is that we are getting ready to do. And then I will wrap it up by telling you some of the things that we are going to probably have to stop doing so that we can do this better. So this whole idea is one to many, which in essence is that from one account, one team doing certain parts, many different teams can benefit from it. Now there is different groups that are doing things similar to this. There are groups that are out there broadcasting and sowing gospel seeds broadly and widely, but we're starting with the field. We're starting with the teams in the specific fields and looking to see who is there to do the follow-up, the face-to-face follow-up. To us at Cavanaugh, this is really important, that we do not want to just run ads and when we do not have people who can do the follow-up. And we believe that it's extremely important that the field teams always are speaking into the content, to the ads, to the themes, to all of that. That there is a partnership, a closed loop of communication where everyone is working together within their strengths and giftedness to be able to do that. So that is what this outreach strategy is. It's one that we're doing in Taiwan, where the country that I love and the people that I love, we're building a coalition of follow-up people there, of teams to work on this. And so let me share just with you a little bit about what this strategy looks like. So when we start talking about one to many, the key here for us starting is that there are 12 major countries that we're looking at, and then a bunch of other ones that you see here. So within these 12 countries, these are countries, not people group focused, but countries that have the highest non-Christian population. Now within these countries, there's tons of unreached people groups and tons of just work that still needs to be done. But we're starting with these 12 being not to the exclusion of any others, but if there's a team that comes to us or an organization that comes to us that's working within these 12 countries, they move up on our priority list. All right, so hopefully that makes sense to you. This is not to say the work happening anywhere else isn't important. It is just simply a thing of priority right now, where as we look to where we're going to get started on this, we're looking for teams and organizations that are working in these 12 countries. And then from there, there's other countries, these next 25 that are places that as well need the need per 1,000 people. There's the least amount of churches in these locations. And there's great work already taking place there. We don't want to stop that. We don't want to compete against that. In fact, I'm willing to just walk away from any deal if it means we're having to compete with other believers. That's not our desire at Cavanaugh. We want to lift up Christ and his kingdom and not try to compete. But as a focus, this is one of those ones where we're looking for teams in these areas, as well as then just other teams around the world who are saying, we believe that we would do better by focusing in on certain parts of what we're trying to do. We already have then partners in other parts, other countries even, that you don't see on this list. And we're thankful for that. So we value those. We are honored to be a part of them. These countries, though, are, if you find yourself working in these areas, we would love to talk with you about how can we partner with you in these areas. So when we go through this is what we believe, that if we're to see everyone having access to the gospel, if everyone is going to be able to have a discipler who can help them not only come to faith, but then grow and share their faith and make disciples themselves, then we need partnership. We need financial partnership. We need giving partnership. We need partnership in media creation, both coming from the field and from media groups out there, Lumo, Jesus Film, GMPI, the Media for Movements people working to help create this content. Anybody, everyone working together. Same thing with the marketing. We need partnership on that. Instead of every team having to learn the marketing or how to make all the videos, I think we can partner and go further together faster and further when we're partnering well. And in the seeker follow-up and church creation. This is where we believe partnership goes well. We've experienced it as a team working in Taiwan, where we had organizations there that were from a different mission org, but we were working from the same playbook. And as a team, if we knew that this other org's teams were working in this neighborhood or this city, we felt no need to have to go in there to create our own version or our own brand. We wanted to bless them, and when we found seekers in those areas, we wanted to pass those people off to them. We trusted them, and they did the same with us. It's that level of partnership that I think is possible on a global scale. So in the idea of economy of scale, there are things that we need to scale, but it does not mean that every missionary or every church team needs to be creating their own media content or learning and implementing social media marketing practices. I just am convinced that not every team needs to do this. There are some teams that do have the skills and the people and the desire, and we want to bless them. If that's your team, may the Lord bless you. Keep going. If that's what you want to do, there are great training options out there. Media to movement training, there's the MMU training, there's all sorts of just great coaches and people that can help you on that. That's fine. But on an economy of scale, I do not believe everyone has to learn all those. But what we do need is every worker doing what they went to the field to do, which is to make disciples of Jesus. If you've learned the language or you are a local, you are equipped to do something that we can't do. And that's where partnership comes together well. So we need everyone to work together where God has gifted them in their expertise, or as I tend to call it, in your swim lane. What do you do well? Then do that. Do what you do well and partner in those other areas. So if you're a media creator, then do that. Create amazing media. And don't lock it down behind a bunch of lawyers and things saying you can't share this or don't use that. Share freely. Sow the gospel freely. Let your content be used by so many different people. If you're marketing, share that. We're going to keep doing this podcast and this video show because that's an important part of who we are, is to just share. But we also are wanting to focus in on that for the field. That's where we want to lean in even more. And if you're a worker, a missionary, a person out there trying to make Jesus famous, then do that. Make him famous. Use the best tactics. Use the best strategy. Be a person of prayer. Do what you do well and how the Lord has called you and gifted you. I think that this is important for all of us to stay in our swim lanes and to do what God has called us to do, to be faithful in those areas. So for us in a one-to-many, it's from one country and in one account to many people who we believe are wanting to know Jesus. So there's the targeted marketing. This is the Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube. We're experimenting with some other platforms right now just to continue to learn on those. That's the targeted marketing part. That's what we at Kavanaugh are leaning into. And then in certain places with this one-to-many, we are paying and finding at least one, if not more, depending upon the need, online responders and moderators. So when a person makes a comment or when they're sending in private messages, we have these local responders who speak the language and who can engage with people then online who are that first point of contact. Once again, one can serve more than one account, more than one city where the ads are being ran. And so it's leveraging this economy of scale to be able to do this. Finally, then there's the on the ground, the follow-up coalition. And that's where these local missionaries and churches are willing to quickly follow up when a person is seeking, when they want a Bible and they want one physically given to them, when they want to be a part of a group, when they want to get to know who Jesus is, when they need coaching. all of this is the on the ground follow-up coalition. So the ads can be ran on behalf of multiple teams, multiple locations, ran through local, online, well-trained responders using tools like Echo Global and other pieces of software like Disciple Tools, so that when there is a seeker identified, they can be passed off to the closest team to follow up on that person as quickly as possible. That's where partnership works well, in our opinion. So in one-to-many, Kavanaugh Media is the one doing the marketing part of where we are. All of this is trying to do our best to use just the processes that you and I know and that we'll talk about on this show. The online correspondence, that's where they're trying to determine where that person who is commenting or who is sending the private message, where are they? And then they're trying to get them to a point where they're ready to meet with someone face to face. This is where that coalition comes into it throughout this country. Contacts then are passed off. That's when the discipleship process can begin. And we truly believe that to go far, we must go together. That's where partnership is going to help us. And it's through this partnership that we can accomplish more than what any of us could do individually. So who does what? Well, as I've said, Kavanaugh's doing the overall digital strategy. We work with the local teams. We're setting up the technology. We're setting up Echo Global, Disciple Tools. We're working with the partnership teams to find willing on-the-ground teams who are ready to do follow-up and to do translation of these ad journeys. We will train up these digital responders if they're starting from scratch, and then we will create and manage the ads. We as well then will do monthly countrywide video calls with anyone in the coalition where we're looking at what's working, what's not working, what's coming up, what do we need, all of that, so that there's really a group coalition that's coming from it. For those in the follow-up coalition and the multipliers, we need people that will respond quickly. We need people that will make sure that they use the tools that are there, like Disciple Tools, so that we can record every interaction that's taking place. People that will commit to meeting monthly, that will contribute then to the ads that are being ran in their city or their location, as well as helping pay together, grouping the salary of these online responders. We think it's important to pay them fair for that local living wage, so that they're not having to always think, well, I could make an extra dollar here or there. We want focused, well-trained, committed people. And when we pool our resources financially, I think we can do more there as well. So for us, bringing what we can offer to this is just a team. We have a full team that this is what we do. We're now over 250 accounts that we can either are working in or gain insights from. 23 different mission organizations that we're partnering with. A few of them we're partnering heavily with. We're very much working just right alongside of them. And over 85 different countries where we either have or are running ads currently. So I think there's a lot of experience. There's a tremendous amount of data. There's a lot of scars, things that we know that don't work. And that's what we're trying to bring to the table. There's online systems like Echo Global that provide security, scalability, and honestly simplicity to the online responding process. Tools like Disciple Tools that help us to see not only what's happening online, but offline. And then a network of people praying, because we think that's essential to seeing God move in every one of these places to finish the task. There's some benefits that go to just the Great Commission of what we're trying to do here. We think that this is going to accelerate the Great Commission by minimizing the time spent by a lot of local teams trying to find seekers. All right? And so by doing this at scale and by leveraging digital tools and technology, we can expedite that Great Commission work in your context. We can optimize, all right, your capacity by letting you do the things that you do really well, regardless of what organization or denomination you come from. Together, we're going to be stronger. We think this can help local teams multiply and even grow and recruit more workers for the field. It removes these silos that are happening at times out there. We're letting people figure out how we as the body of Christ can work together. which results in us focusing just our workforce. We're focusing people in where there is this need and where there's a good fit to what it is that they're doing. It's allowing you on the field to stay focused on what's important. That is sharing and making disciples in that local heart language. And what we hope then will come is a movement building, keeping teams focused. We think that this winning, building, and sending is going to create a countrywide movement. That's what we're praying about. That's what we want. It is as well gives us a broader reporting and accountability to what is actually happening out there. So this visibility helps us quantify what's happening in the harvest and where do we need more. Maybe where do we need more people? Where is the Spirit at work right now? All of this can come as a result of us working and sharing together. All right, so I hope that this is something that really encourages you. I hope that this is something that makes you go, oh yeah, I want to be a part of something like that. If so, if you're wanting to do that kind of a partnership countrywide, I would love to talk to you. I want to ask you to reach out, speak to us. We'll get you in touch with the groups that are helping us with building this partnership. There's a whole partnership team at Jesus Film that we're partnering with to do this. There's people on our team that can talk with you as about the different technical parts to it. I would be happy to talk to you about just answer any questions you have or what it is that we are hoping that God would allow to happen and that He would bless. We believe that this is from Him, and we are willing to do whatever it takes. As a business, as mission, if I have to go to the bank and put a second mortgage on my house, I want to do whatever it takes. I don't want to walk in fear. I want to walk in faith, and I want to walk with you. So if you're willing to partner with us on this, if you think that we can add value to what you're doing, if you're in some of those countries that we're right now saying we really desperately need to find people who want to work together, I would like to ask you to just reach out. You can do that personally. You can go to my Twitter account, send me a direct message. You can go to our KavanaughMedia.com website. There's a contact us form there. If you have my cell phone, call me, text me, whatever. Send me a signal message. But I would love to hear from you. This isn't a quick thing that we're doing in 1 week. This is an ongoing, which means we're going to have to make some shifts, which is going to mean that there's going to be less on the just random coaching that we're going to be able to do as a team. We're going to be practitioners, and we're still going to be sharing. Still going to keep this podcast, still going to be putting ad examples out there. So whether you officially partner with us or not, all of those learnings, tools are still going to be available for you. But it does mean that we're going to have to start saying no to some things so that we can say yes to this, because we believe that that's what God is calling us as a team to do in partnership with you. So if you're interested, reach out to me. If you've got questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Please share this. Please share this with other teams, orgs, or people that you think might be interested, because we're better together. And thanks for sharing this podcast or this video training as well. If you like it, subscribe to it, share it to other people. It just helps us to be able to reach out to more people. Last week, our numbers of people who have watched at least one episode were getting close to 7,600 people. So praise God. Thank you for being a part of that. And thank you for allowing us to support you, our heroes in the faith, as we together try to make Jesus famous. Until next time, take care. Lord willing, we'll be there next week online. We've got some Google ad training, some scripting we're going to show you next week, Lord willing. Until then, take care and God bless.